Hey, are you ready? I'm ready. Let's learn something new together and let's improve our lives. By the way, if you like this video, I want you to consider giving it a like, and please subscribe to this channel. My name's Matt Easton. I want to be your new best friend. If you want more tips on how to be successful both in business and life, give this channel a follow.
Hey everyone, Jim Fitzpatrick. Thanks so much for joining us this morning. Are you reaching out to prospective buyers on LinkedIn and having little or no luck? Today we're getting some insight on how to best generate more LinkedIn leads with Matt Easton, sales trainer, consultant, and founder of Easton University. You have seen this gentleman on TikTok and so many other media platforms out there. This guy knows what it takes to be successful in the area of sales. That's what we love when he joins us on the show. So welcome back, and thanks so much, Matt, for joining us today.
Thanks for having me, Jim. And maybe they've even seen me on LinkedIn.
That's right. Maybe they've seen you on LinkedIn, which is what we're going to talk to you about today. So
I love it.
It seems as though the world in sales is made up, is kind of two worlds. Those that use LinkedIn and those that go, no, I'm not really on LinkedIn. I don't use LinkedIn. Personally, I think it's a big mistake. But should every salesperson, regardless of the industry that they're in, be using LinkedIn?
Yes, with an asterisk, Jim, because I'd almost even say three worlds. Those that use LinkedIn, those that don't use LinkedIn, and Jim, I'm curious to get your opinion on this. Those that use LinkedIn improperly. I think it might even be there on my phone. I just got 3 messages from somebody. Yeah, hey, can we grab a coffee? That kind of. Do you get those, Jim?
I get them, and I guess that's what I'm referring to. Is that can turn me off, as it does a lot of people, where it's like, I don't know you, you're looking for a cup of coffee, you want to share some ideas because we're in the same industry, and it's like, is that what do you say about that? Is that a good way to introduce yourself on LinkedIn? How do you go about that?
I agree with you 100%, Jim, and people that have watched our other segments together, what's more valuable than money?
Time.
Your time.
Yeah.
Right.
That's right.
So when they hit you with this assumption that you're best friends, and now they want to take a bunch of your time, especially grabbing coffee, right? You're in Atlanta. So now it's just a quick zip down 285 to some Starbucks.
Yeah, it was an hour.
Miles,
both
right,
each way.
Jim's got nothing better to do with his time than to do that. So yeah, let's break it into 3 groups. Those that use LinkedIn, great. Those that don't, terrible. And those that are not skillful with LinkedIn, which they rapidly become the people that don't use it. So
that's right.
Those would be my 3 groups. But yeah, I agree with you 100% on and we can talk about that during this segment, how they could do that more skillfully.
Sure.
But yeah, this whole thing of just because we're connected, we're best friends, and you're going to get on the interstate and go meet this stranger. Right. Sounds like a great way to get mugged.
That's right. That's right. Yeah, online dating gone terribly wrong.
Right.
Except it's in
LinkedIn
the corporate.
muggings are up 4,000%.
That's right. That's right. So from your perspective, what do leads typically look like from LinkedIn, and what do you need to do to play in this arena successfully?
Yeah. So here's what leads should typically look like from LinkedIn. It should look like a door being opened. LinkedIn should not be your platform to take Jim from somebody on LinkedIn all the way to a hot, qualified, sold prospect, whatever it is that you're saying. LinkedIn should be the place where you go to crack that door open and start that relationship. And then the conversation should take place elsewhere, not at Starbucks down 285.
Right.
But you need to use LinkedIn as basically to get people curious enough to want to start a conversation with you.
Right. Right. So if you're reaching out to somebody, what might that look like? If you said, "Hey, I know this person is perfect for my product or for my service. I see them on LinkedIn. I want to reach out to them." What might that look like?
Okay, if they're taking notes during this segment, which they should be, because I'm dropping bombs, I'm dropping fire, I'm giving them value. Here's the first note they want to take. And this is not only for LinkedIn, but anybody managing your career, managing your small business, whatever it is that you do, okay? You are going to be exponentially more successful if you make yourself the X for Y. What do I mean by that? Let's say you are a real estate broker in Atlanta. I'm a real estate broker. Not great. But what if you were the real estate broker for busy professionals in Peachtree Corners or whatever it is?
Right.
The more you can make yourself the X for Y. I am the leading luxury automotive representative for high net worth individuals in Atlanta or busy professionals. Make yourself the X for Y. Okay. So that's the first thing that they need to sit down and figure out is what's their X? That's what they sell.
Okay.
And who do they sell it to? They need to tailor their pitch to that. Then, and with a lot of the stuff that I teach at Easton University, life is so much easier than we try to make it be. Instead of these long, lengthy messages, hey Jim, it's great to be connected with you on LinkedIn here. Hope you're having a great season this year. Hope you're enjoying these crazy Atlanta weather. Would love to meet you for a cup of coffee. Anytime is good for you, right? By the way, you're scrolling through this.
Right.
You've already deleted my message when we got to look at that. Look at all the messages I have.
Right.
How am I supposed to have time to read all that garbage, right? That's just since we started. How about this? Hey, Jim, I've got an idea I'd love to get your opinion on. Could you give me a buzz on my mobile? Now, if you were reached out by somebody that was the X for Y, right? I'm the auto broker for busy professionals in Atlanta, for business owners in Atlanta. I've got an idea I'd love to get your opinion on. Can you give me a call or text on my mobile 720-660-3202? I'm not saying you're going to get 100% response,
right? But
you're going to get about 7,000% better response than if you send those long, lengthy spam. Because Jim, you got to admit, you would be slightly curious if you got that message.
Oh, there's no question about it. Yeah, for sure.
Everybody wants to give their opinion. And
That's right.
Here's another little trick. Give me a call or shoot me a text and on my mobile, 720-660-3202. Yep. Because if you're halfway there to calling somebody, you're probably, I don't want to put my therapist hat on, but the psychology of it is, if I'm halfway or 3/4 of the way sold on calling you, I'm 100% sold on shooting you a text message.
Right.
Hey, Matt Easton, it's Jim Fitzpatrick. You had pinged me on LinkedIn. What's up? At least now I have a dialogue.
That's right. And it might be a valid question about the industry that I'm in. And it is, to your point, it's much less intimidating because it's not a sale. It's a question that you might be able to help that individual with, and he sees you or she sees you as an expert in the field. So So listen to how that dialogue could go.
Right. And we're not having that dialogue on LinkedIn. So I'm the X for Y, and let's just take the classic of all sales. I'm trying to sell you a car, right? Like I could make this even more skillful, trying to sell you sales training for your media empire. But let's just keep it really simple, right? When you reach back out to me, instead of saying, hey, I'm down at Friendly Ford and I sell cars. Do you need a car? Hey, Jim, thanks for calling me back. Now, granted, this conversation's happening in real time, not through LinkedIn. So here's the idea I wanted to get your opinion on. I know you've got several networks there in Atlanta. I don't know if you ever just don't have the time. Maybe you've got an old vehicle you're looking to, switch out. Or also, what a lot of business owners in Atlanta are seeing is their workforce is having to work from home because they don't have reliable transportation, or they're constantly late because their vehicles are broken down. If you ever have issues with an employee, right, and they need something reliable, but you don't want them taking a bunch of time, I'm your guy. Yeah. I will take care of them. That's a pretty compelling conversation, and that's going to stick in somebody's mind of, man, you know what? If our employees need it, hold on, I've got a guy. Tony, if you're late to the studio one more time, I'm going to let you go. By the way, I've got a guy. His name's Matt Easton. I want you to call him, say Jim sent you. Right? These are the kind of conversations that you want to start through LinkedIn. Instead of just throwing up all over them about what you do. Create a compelling scenario, especially in economies like we have now. People think they can't sell anything. Right. Not true. You can actually do a lot better in a bad economy if you come up with a solid idea rather than just trying to pitch, we've got the best price, I've got this. a solid idea on how you can improve somebody's life, that's what they're looking for in economies like this.
Right, right. And I did get and maybe this person went to your school, but I did get a message through LinkedIn similar to this, what you're talking about, where it was, do you have 2 minutes? I just have a question that I'd like to ask you. And I, you know what, I took them up on it because obviously I'm in this industry and I want to know more and find out what this individual's angle is. And and I called them back and I said, hey, I'm Jim Fitzpatrick, how can I help you? And they said, yeah, I know that you're in the broadcast business and what have you, and we happen to sell commercial real estate. And I was wondering, from a person in your position, what is it that you want to know, or what is it that you want to hear when somebody gives you a call? Because we're putting together a sales strategy right now, and I know that you're a player in this market, and you've got 20,000 square feet of office space, and just if you wouldn't mind sharing with me, what are some of like the top 3 things that you want to know about the market that we can incorporate in our either pitch or in our marketing materials? So what would entice you to want to learn more? And I thought that was pretty good, because I'm like, well, I'd like to know the stats of the market. I'd like to know how long the company's been around. And this conversation that started out as a 5-minute conversation, I hung up the phone 35 minutes later, and I felt as though I was getting off the phone with an old friend. I mean, the guy was very personable. He knew how to work it. By the way, he never asked me for a sale. He never said, can I come by and list your properties? He never said, hey, can I sell you something else? He really kept it on the can you help me, which is what I love about the opening there. Is if you got 5 minutes, I'd love to know more about your industry, so that it might help me more in this area. And then of course during the call he was very inquisitive about what we do in our media company, and started right away recommending people that might be great guests on our shows and what have you. So but never asked me for a sale, never said, hey, you in the market, can I sell, can I list, can I show you properties, whatever. And of course, there were those opportunities for me to say, well, by the way, how does the market look right now? Because I've got a piece of real estate that I would be considering selling. He goes, oh, yeah, let me talk to you about that. So,
okay. I agree with you, Jim, that was good. I've taken a couple high-level notes. Should we make it great?
Yes, let's make it great.
Okay. That was a good example. Let's make this a great example. First thing, when somebody reached out and said, if you have 2 minutes, if you have 5 minutes, whatever they said, I can't remember, 2 or 5 minutes, can you give me a call?
Right.
Okay. Again, folks, we are making our careers much harder than we need to be. First of all, you're never going to close business in 2 minutes. You're never going to close business in 5 minutes.
Right.
My guess is that good conversation went much longer than 2 or 5 minutes. Okay.
Right.
So let's just eliminate that altogether. It's dead weight. Like if we were racing cars around a NASCAR track, that would be the Boomin' system stereo. It's not necessary, and it's not going to help us win races, right? We only want things in the car that are going to help us win races.
Right.
So I would just, instead of saying if you have 2 minutes, I would just say, hey, I've got an idea that I'd love to get your opinion on, and then go right to, can you give me a call or shoot me a text on my mobile, 720-660-3202. Boom.
Sure.
That's the entirety of your message.
Yeah. Don't even put a time limit on there.
Correct.
Right.
And then the other thing that was good, but we can make it great, is he led with, I'm hoping here's, I'm just going to break down because this is the stuff I think about all day, every day. Here's what he appealed to your ego, Jim. I'm not saying you're an egomaniac, but we all kind of are. He appealed to your ego as an expert, and said, hey, I'd love to get some insights from you about, 2 or 3 things that you'd like to hear as an owner. Here, we need to flip the script on that. Okay. And that's good. Appealing to somebody's ego and asking them for help is really high level amateur stuff.
Sure.
When you want to enter the realm of a professional, hey, Jim, so I've been meeting with a lot of real estate owners in the Atlanta area, and there's 3 different things that I'm seeing continue to come up. And I don't know if you've seen these, but I'd like to share these with you in case you guys are ever in a position where you're selling something or thinking. Instead of asking Jim for 3 insights that can help him better present himself or herself, themselves as a real estate professional, give Jim 3 insights, right? So flip the script on that. Don't ask for, give. And then what that does is perfectly position you to say, Jim, are you guys seeing anything like this?
Right.
Which is a no-lose question. Because if you say yes, you can say, oh, man, got it. I'm glad we're talking. Can you give me a specific example? Well, yeah, we were looking at listing our old studio, which we're not using right now, but we thought rates were too high. Now I've got a constructive conversation. Or Jim, are you seeing anything like this? No, I'm not. Got it. What are you seeing?
Right.
Is very different than me just leading the conversation.
I know. Much better. Yep. Much better.
Much better. Yeah. And then the last piece, my last little note here, they need to end all their conversations being NSO, next step obsessed, right? Yeah. This is where we can now, I know at the beginning of this interview, we talked about coffee on 285. Now we've earned the right to say, hey, Jim, does it make sense for me to swing by the studio sometime, eyeball it, and just kind of get a general look? And that way, if you guys ever are looking at leasing a portion of it or selling it all together, I'll have a better understanding and I can give you some feedback on that quickly.
Right.
Does it make sense to blank? If you say no, they can say, got it. What's a good next step on my end? Right? You know what? We're doing a bunch of stuff here at the studio. Circle back with me in February. Right. Perfect. I'll call you February 7th if I haven't heard from you before then. Fair enough, right? And I don't know what a next step is. Why don't we do this? I'll call you right around 1st of April, just to, if I haven't heard back from you guys, just to see how everything's going. Fair enough? Now they've started with LinkedIn. They've provided an insight. And wherever that conversation goes, they have tremendous credibility, right? The credibility that person had in your mind, Jim, is that they cared about you and they were skillful in their conversation.
Right.
But what we really want to leave with is you telling other business owners in the state of Georgia, you need to talk to my person. If you're looking at buying commercial real estate, I know a person. I'm connected with them on LinkedIn. Let me send you their contact information. If you're going to sell it, let me send you my person. They're like a wealth of information. We don't get to that level if we ask the customer for their insights. We get to that level if we provide our insights.
That's
so
right.
A little flip there, huge difference.
Totally agree. Totally agree. But you do agree that, or you are saying that pretty much everybody should be on LinkedIn and utilizing it each day for their business.
100%. It's networking without having to drive. And it's so funny. I get so many people there's people that pay me for private coaching sessions and they'll say, oh, I don't use LinkedIn. Okay, well, what are you doing? Well, I'm a member of the Chamber of Commerce and I'm flying out to this convention in Dallas. Great. What's that costing you? It's $3,500 and I'm buying a platinum ticket. How many people do you think you're going to meet at that conference? I don't know, at least 25. I'm not saying don't go to networking conferences, but I can meet 25 people through LinkedIn in 42 minutes.
Right.
And I don't have to get on an airplane or buy a ticket.
That's right.
So when you're skillful with this, it's a wealth of contacts, but you have to be skillful. Just because it didn't work for you before, sending a bunch of spammy LinkedIn inbox messages asking for somebody for coffee does not mean that the platform's not great.
That's
right. It just means you're not great using it.
That's right. That's right. And your message is not great and it needs to be changed. So Matt Easton, thank you so much for joining us on the shows. We very much appreciate it. This is the kind of content that we want to be delivering to our viewers. And whenever you're on, you get a ton of views and I get a ton of positive emails whenever you're on. So thank you so much for all of the contribution that you've given us, certainly through 2022, and we want to continue this next year. So thank you so much. Matt Easton, sales trainer, consultant, founder of Easton University. We're going to show all the information on the screen here as to how to get a hold of Matt if you want to learn more. But if you really want to take your sales career to the next level in 2023 and make the big money, it's only going to come through better skills and developing those skills and training. And that's what Matt brings to the table. So thank you, Matt, so much. Really appreciate it.
Thanks for having me, Jim. It's always a privilege to be on. And whatever I can do to help in the future, just let me know. I'm here for you 100%.
Great. Thank you.
Hey, I hope you loved the video. If you didn't already subscribe, please consider doing so and leave a comment. I want to hear from you. Give the video a like. That's all I ask. I'll see you on the next one.